Hello, everyone. Time now for the Lemon Cohen Report with Don Lemon and Michael Cohen. Before we get started, before I even let him say hello, I want you to hit the like and the thumbs up and the hearts or whatever it is on any platform that you are watching us on. To follow us, to follow Michael Cohen on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Substack, all of the platforms, okay? And support independent journalists and independent media. Right on, Michael Cohen. Michael
Good to
Cohen,
see you, D.
good to see you. You know a little bit, a lot about this, I should say, sadly, and that's about First Amendment rights. And I'm wondering where this country is going to, not only First Amendment rights, but due process and they seem to be more emboldened now that this woman was shot, after this woman being shot and killed.
Yeah. So, as I say in all of my platforms as well, and thank you for mentioning them, every single one of them, say her name. We cannot afford to allow her name to just dissipate like we've seen so many of Trump's chaotic nonsense, right? Renee
Mhm.
Nicole Good. This was a mom. This was a friend, a neighbor, a U.S. citizen who was sitting in her truck, shot 3 times, literally for the sole purpose of what? Stifling her First Amendment rights? She's not an agitator. She's not a far leftist, insurrectionist. What was she? She was somebody who was voicing her opinion about not wanting ICE in Minnesota. That's all that she was doing, and that cost her her life. And yeah, sadly, Don, and you and I have had off camera, off the record conversations about, what went on, in my life as a result of my desire to publish my first book, which was called Disloyal. It ended up resulting in my reincarceration, additional time in solitary confinement, another 15 days, bringing it up to 51 days of fucking torture, until ultimately my lawyer, Danya Perry, a brilliant, brilliant attorney, turned around and she filed on my behalf a habeas corpus petition. And fortunately, it was before a judge that many of you will now recognize the name, Judge Alvin K. Hellerstein. He's a judge that has just been assigned to another case. Um, he determined that it was retaliation because I wanted to exercise my First Amendment right. And one of the things that I've always said, and I wrote my second book, Revenge on it, when you weaponize the Department of Justice, there is no boundary that they cannot violate. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. Because you're right, Don, they're not acknowledging the mistake. In fact, Vice President came out 1, 2, 3 and called her an agitator, called her a far leftist, said that she was responsible based upon her actions for what her tragic event, was, that she was responsible for it. It's so disenchanting. It's disheartening. The president said it. Kristi Noem said it. They're all out there saying the same thing.
Well, Kristi Noem went even further. Kristi Noem had the nerve to call the woman a terrorist, and all at the same time making excuses for the what was it, 1,500 people or so that Donald Trump, maybe more, I forget how many people that he pardoned for
Almost
January 6th.
1,600 to be exact.
1,600 people, almost 1,600 that he pardoned, and basically a blanket pardon. Although there were a couple of exceptions, but basically a blanket pardon for people who broke into the Capitol, destroyed the destruction of property, $3 million worth of damage to the Capitol, but yet they were exonerated or pardoned, and they weren't called terrorists by the Trump administration of
No, they
Donald
were
Trump.
called
They
patriots.
were called patriots, and people who were out for a walk and were invited into the Capitol. It is outrageous. I don't care if you can look at the video, can analyze, you can do whatever. They're going to say, well, it's what he thought at the time. Well, I could say right here, Michael, that it feels dangerous to me that I'm in imminent danger from Michael Cohen, and then do something to you. And then what does that do? What does that mean? He was not in imminent danger. And first of all, he was not following protocol. Anyway, I don't want to just keep rehashing that. But every time I look at a video and I was like, that man was not in front of the car. That man is shooting those shots when he's not in front of the car. That is a damn lie. And now they're out here raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for him.
By the way,
People,
protocol,
including
Don,
Bill Ackman.
protocol, by the way, does not mean that the ICE agent stands in front of a car in order to stop a
That's
vehicle
not what
from
their
moving forward.
training says. They're not supposed to do that, Michael.
Exactly. Training says the exact opposite. You secure your environment first, ensuring that you do not put yourself and others in jeopardy. First and foremost, he shot through the to the driver's side lower portion of the windshield, my understanding striking her in the shoulder. With that, when he stepped back and she continued on that right path, between the agent and the vehicle that was on the side of the street, he opened fire literally at point blank range into an open window, the open driver's side window, striking her twice in the face. All right. This is not protocol. No matter how I don't care if you're a MAGA. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent. I don't care. This is not
Mhm.
protocol. This is not proper. This is absolutely despicable. And the worst part is I don't think that there's going to be any accountability for these actions. So um, a woman loses her life, a mom, the youngest kid, I think, 6 or 8 years old, not only lost the father, but now lost the mother. This is beyond horrific. And this is all about wanting to exercise. And I want to bring it, I hate to use his word, I'm going to do the weave. All right. This is all about the First Amendment. And I warned everyone that if they can do something like that to me, imagine what they can do to you.
Yeah. If they can imagine what they can do to you. And let's be honest, Michael, usually we see, immigrants. This is supposedly about the worst people, right? People who coming across the border, the worst, the criminals, all of this. And that most of the people that they're rounding up have no criminal record. Those are just facts. That's what the facts show. And then, as you said, if they can do it to you, what if they can do it to you, Michael Cohen? What could they do to other people? Think about this. Look, this wasn't a minority. This wasn't a brown person. This wasn't an immigrant. This was an American citizen who was a white woman. And so what it says to me is that they have no guardrails. They don't care. Usually it's like, okay, there's some maybe bias or discrimination, and they feel like they can get away with it if they don't touch or harm the people in society who are deemed or perceived, I should say, to have privilege. That's just how our society works. But it didn't matter here. They just indiscriminately shot a white woman, citizen of the United States. No accent, no brown skin, no black skin, no nothing, except that maybe they're saying she's a lesbian. But I mean, does he know that at the time of the shooting? Who knows? Maybe he thought so from, the girlfriend or the woman outside of the car. But you get my point with this. They don't care who it is. It's not just about immigrants. And not that that matters, but what it shows is that this is all a lie. It's all a ruse. Donald Trump wants his own secret police. Donald Trump is trying to boost his polling numbers. He's trying to get his record on immigration of deporting people. He wants it better than Barack Obama's, because Barack Obama deported more people than any president in modern history, but he didn't do it inhumanely.
Yeah.
And so that's
You
what
know,
this is about. And let's not forget, this is a big distraction from the Epstein files, and then now a distraction from Venezuela, which is also a distraction from the Epstein files. It is compiling. It is one on top of the other, and each time it gets worse.
Don, when I saw the videos, because that's the beauty of modern technology today. It's the beauty of living during this time, 2026. Everybody has a cell phone. And if you have a cell phone, you have a camera. If you have a camera, you have a video recording device. There are so many recordings of this tragic incident, of this murder. There's so many. Right before, when the conversation first was starting, when John Ross, the ICE agent, approached the car, Renee Nicole Good was smiling. She was laughing, showed him her hands. There was no apprehension of fear or imminent danger that John Ross could have possibly thought that he was in. She backed up to ensure that she didn't hit anyone so that she would have the right line within which to leave as they started to grab her door. There is not a single action by John Ross or those that were standing around him that matches up to protocol. And yes, again, right back to the First Amendment, she was there protesting at most. She had just dropped off her son at school. So what? She was protesting. Just because you don't like what somebody's saying doesn't mean you get to shoot him in the face.
Right on. Right on. And again, this is about the Constitution, as we pointed out from the very beginning of this. This is about the Constitution, and it's about the First Amendment. You may not like it, like Donald Trump is out there saying, "Well, she was an agitator, she was paid, she was all this," and we don't know if any of that
By the
is
way,
true. But
I'm so
what if
sorry,
she
Tom.
was?
What if she was? That's the whole
That's
that's a what
right.
if she was? Keep
What
on,
if she
brother.
was?
Go ahead.
No, yeah, seriously, what if she was? That doesn't matter. The Constitution doesn't say that you can't exercise your First Amendment. You can only exercise your First Amendment if you're not getting paid. It's like, okay, maybe some people support her. And the weird thing, here's the very weird thing. They're saying that they're paid, and no one has talked about this. I don't think anyone has picked up on it. They're being paid by someone or paid by the public. What do you think a GoFundMe campaign is for the shooter here, for the killer here? What do you think that is? Isn't that being given funds? Aren't the public giving him funds? Isn't that having public support and being paid by the public? If
Yeah.
you are actually soliciting and getting money from people you don't know?
Who are these horrible people, Don, that are willing to support someone for shooting a woman in the face, violating all of our constitutional rights? You see, that's where these dummies don't seem to understand. This book right here, the Constitution, I keep it by me all the time. The Constitution isn't for Democrats, Republicans, or there you go. Yours is nicer than mine. Wait,
I have a couple of these. I buy them
yeah.
on
I give them
online
out.
all the
I give them
time.
out all the time.
Yeah.
The Constitution isn't for Republicans, Democrats, independents. It's for all Americans. It's for
Mhm.
everyone. And the fact that they're now supporting a guy who violated the First Amendment, the Constitution, the first one, you don't even have to read past page 1
Mhm.
in order to understand that that is a protected right. It's the right to free speech. He shot her 3 times, killing her, and they're supporting this? Who in their right mind is donating to this sick bastard?
I will tell you who in their right mind is donating to the sick bastard, but let me make this point first, because in the First Amendment of the Constitution, that's why I want to tell everyone why this administration does not believe in the Constitution or democracy, and they're not patriots. It's bullshit, because the First Amendment of the Constitution tells you where all of the powers to do what he's doing on the streets with the National Guard and with ICE and with war, what's happening in Venezuela, all of it. Congress is mentioned in the First Amendment of the Constitution, shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. What is that saying? All of these powers go through Congress. All of the lawmaking powers, all of the money, all of that goes through Congress. Now, if you look at Article 1 of the Constitution, and that's how, because the Trump administration is not listening to anything, they're not listening to the legislative branch of the government at all. Article 1 of the Constitution, okay? In the first sentence, guess who's mentioned, Michael?
President.
No, the Congress.
Oh, you're talking about
All
Article 1. Yes.
Article 1, all legislative powers herein granted shall
Yeah.
be vested in Congress of the United States, which shall consist of the Senate, of a Senate and House of Representatives. The House of Representatives shall
Yep.
be composed of members chosen by chosen every second year for the public in several states, and the electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. And this says no person shall be a representative who not attain the age of 25 years old, and
Right.
blah 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 blah.
Yeah, actually,
So
I thought you were gonna start jumping right into what Trump is doing, which is,
no, but
as
that's what I'm saying.
Article 2 of the Constitution,
They're violating it. Go ahead.
which is the executive branch, has basically assumed all of Article 1, Congress's powers, and the question that I have to constantly ask, why is Congress allowing the executive within which to assume their power? If that's the case, why are they there? Who needs them?
Who needs him? But listen, who's the first? The president thinks that he is the first article of the Constitution. Because everything, if you have Congress is in the first article, that means everything that follows, one would
Right.
think logically would go under their purview. And so I know we were supposed to have three equal branches of government, but they didn't mention a president first because why? We just seceded from a country, excuse me, that was a monarchy with a king. We don't want
Exactly.
kings. And so we have a representative government of different people, of two establishment groups called the Congress. And that's one branch of the government that really takes a lead on everything, that everything flows through. And then you have the executive branch, was the president, and then the judicial branch, which are the courts,
I
which
mean,
is,
the interesting thing, Don, is that it's Congress who has the power of the purse. It's
yes.
Congress who must declare war. Somewhere along the line, we're in wars all over the goddamn place right now. Trump is spending money that belongs to the U.S. Treasury, which belongs to the people, which is controlled by Congress, as if nobody else but he exists.
And they're not stopping him. And that's what I think the Congress and the Senate should be held responsible for a lot of this. Now, you asked me who is donating to this. Well, Bill Ackman, who is a hedge fund founder. Megyn Kelly is retweeting the link to the GoFundMe. And then there is another gentleman, I forget who it is, but I'm sure it's, people around the country, the people who support Donald Trump. It's the MAGA folks. What kind of person does this? I think people who are very hateful. I think people who don't really believe in the Constitution. I think people who are intoxicated with ideology, whether that's a right ideology or a left
I think
ideology.
Megyn Kelly's intoxicated with likes and with new subscribers and so on. I'll never forget when she and Trump around 2016 had a terrible, terrible argument, and he went after her. And she went into hiding with her husband and her children. She fled to a hotel in New Jersey, literally to the point that Roger Ailes called me. It was summertime. It was August. I was in the Hamptons at the time, and I was walking in the backyard
When you
or
almost
on the
ran over
street, and
me.
I get
That's
a
what's wrong.
phone call from Roger Ailes and from Sean Hannity. We need your help. She was petrified. She was so afraid that one of these Trump supporters, were going to come after her. Meanwhile, did anybody come after her? Who gives two shits about Megyn Kelly, the lying ass that
Oh,
she is?
Megyn Kelly does.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what she's doing. She's retweeting it because she thinks it puts her into the mix, that now she's going to get more subscribers, more likes. She's going to be the person that I guess she always wanted to be, right?
A grifter?
I guess. I don't know what the hell she wants, but it's sick. And I did it. I resolved the whole issue with Roger Ailes and with Hannity and with Trump and so on. And then lo and behold, she gives him that interview and it didn't go too well. And then he attacked her during the, what do you call it? One of those
The debate?
debates
Town
and
hall, or it was a debate.
yeah,
When
a
he said
debate.
she had blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out
Yeah,
of her wherever, that was
yeah,
on my show.
yeah.
That's where he said that. Yeah. But look, I have a similar experience, probably maybe not as intimate as yours. I don't mean that in a strange way, but that, I spoke to, Megyn Kelly about what happened after that Donald Trump attacked her and that she was scared and she had security. She always had security with her. I mean, was anybody coming from Megyn Kelly? I don't know. I doubt it.
In her book, she blames it on me, by the way.
She does.
In her book, she blames it on me. She was afraid to blame it on him, and so she blames it on me in her book.
I have an idea. Thank you for giving me an idea of something that I'm going to do, and you'll know when I do it. You'll went, the light bulb will go off in your head because one just went off in my head, but I'm not going to tell you about it. But yeah, I had a very similar experience. And then after the election, I remember texting her something, and she texted back, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" I didn't understand what was happening. And then when she started at first it was a blog, I think, and then it was a podcast or whatever. Um, I remember saying, "Oh, here it is. Now I see." But look, let's not forget that I don't want to just continue to harp on Megyn Kelly because whatever. Um, but I mean, just think about the things that she did when she was on Fox, like the new Black Panthers, and
Mhm.
it wasn't Antifa. Maybe it was Antifa then, but it was the new Black Panthers, and it was something else that it was back then. God, who was it? Crap, I can't remember. But then another group, which consisted of about 4 people. And then she would lead with it and talk about it as if they were, just disrupting democracy at a fevered pitch. And it was just like, it would be like 4 people standing in front of a courthouse. And she said, it was just dangerous to
Well,
democracy.
look at what Trump said. I mean, it's all the same operating plan. So he turns around and says they're being disrespectful to the ICE agents. And I
Hmm.
sat there and I'm saying to myself, all right, listen, remember how much time I had spent with this man. That was a bad gaffe. Let's just acknowledge it and say that's not what I meant to say. That they were being disrespectful. They're blowing whistles. They're impeding their ability. They're videotaping them. Um, Constitutionally protected right. Constitutionally protected right. Yeah, that one too is a constitutionally protected right, and so is the last one. All right. They're not agitators. They're not terrorists. She certainly did not deserve to be shot. She didn't even deserve to be approached, let alone murdered. I mean, this is just crazy talk at this point that they have the right. And you're not wrong, Don. I was watching a group of, and I do I do a YouTube on the Michael Cohen show on it, where a bunch of ICE agents are in a parking lot. They see a black guy sitting in a car, and they immediately run over to him and they start questioning him about his citizenship. And he says,
Hmm.
"Yes, I'm a green card holder." He said, "Do you have it on you?" "Oh my God, now you're required to walk around with
With a
your
green card.
passport or your birth certificate or a green card?" So he says, "No, but you want my driver's license?" And I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, "Huh, so now we're back to racial profiling. I thought we were past that in the
Y
country."
Yeah, you thought we were past it, but apparently the Supreme Court, okayed it, and, so now they're doing it. I've been playing videos on my YouTube channel all the time of people. There was this woman, and she kept asking her, "Are you an American citizen?" She's like, "I don't have to answer that." So, yeah, "Show some ID." She goes, "I don't have to show you my ID." And they kept harassing her, and they're, like, trying to take her picture, and it's like, "Well, were you born in this country?" She's like, I don't have to answer that. I live here." And
My favorite, I,
I should be able to walk down the street in peace. And the thing is that every time someone does something like that, because there are people who do it, and every time people stand up and say, "You do not have the right or the authority to do this. Leave, get away from me, leave." They eventually leave because they know, Michael, according to this, they don't have the right to do it. So I would say stand there, stand your ground peacefully and say, "You do not have the right to do this. I don't have to show you anything. Leave. You do not have the right nor the authority to do this. Leave. Get off out of my presence. Get off of my property." And then continue to say that, and they will eventually have to leave. They're going
well,
to try to
not
intimidate you, but you have the right.
sure, but not before You're gonna get pepper sprayed like they did to that crowd that was standing on the sidewalk. They're on the sidewalk impeding nothing, and the ICE agents together, they start marching shoulder to shoulder towards them, and the people are like, "What the fuck is going on here?" And then all of a sudden, they start throwing tear gas canisters, shooting them on the folks in the face with pepper spray. I mean, this is unfortunately what's going on. You're taking a bunch of thugs and you're offering them $50,000, a firearm, with 47 days worth of training. If that's a, I think I heard it's all videos that you watch. 47 days. And by the way, you know why it's 47 days, right?
Because Donald Trump is, number 47.
That's correct. So out of as an honor to him that it only takes 47 days to get one of these morons in order
Crazy.
to be proper. My favorite was they approached this other guy, what do you call it, in a car. They said to him, "Sir, are you an American?" He goes, "Go fuck yourself. Yeah, I'm a fucking American." I mean, it was hysterical. The guy says, "Well, you tell me, where were you born?" So he goes, "I ain't telling you shit. Fuck out of
Eh
here." I
yeah.
mean, but the guy literally sounded like he was coming straight out of Brooklyn, you know? I mean, it was really he was not. It was, I think, in Atlanta, something like that. But he told the cop, he goes, "The fuck out of here. Who you ask? Are you American?" He goes, "What's your name?" The guy who was asking, his name was like Castro or something. And the other guy's name was like Enriquez. So he goes, "Motherfucker, you show me your ID that you're from." They were like, "All right." It was so funny because he turned the whole thing on them. All three of them had basically Hispanic names. So he was like, "Fuck you coming to me to ask me my land." He goes, "My information." He goes, "Motherfucker, show me that you're an American citizen." It was awesome.
I did you see the Somali, Uber driver who just lit into them? Um, it amazing. I mean, he dressed them down, and just made them look like the dummies and the idiots and the I don't even know if they're high school or junior high school dropouts that they are. And he said, "Look, I have an engineering degree, sir. I have an engineering degree, and I am out here trying to pay off my loans." They're like, "Why are you working Uber?" And he said, "Because I'm out here in a respectable job, and I'm trying to pay off my loans. And why don't you go out and get a respectable job where you don't go harass people at their places of employment? Do you feel good about yourself?" You're like, and basically called them a loser. And I was like, that guy. And guess what? They left. They left.
Huh.
They did not. All he did, he didn't threaten them. He had his camera out. He was taking video of them, and he just kept berating and insulting them, and just using his brain to outwit and outsmart them. And eventually, they just went away because they can't. They can't just grab you. They're not supposed to. And you know what they're not supposed to do as well? They're not supposed to bust your window out or anything like that. They're not supposed to try to open your door to pull you out of a car. They don't have the authority to do that at
Yeah,
all.
it's amazing, and you know what? Good for that Somalian guy, to put them in their place. But to those of you that are watching this, whether it's live or you're going to watch it some point thereafter, the power that we all have is the power of the cell phone. All right, I'm telling you, as Don just said, he took out his cell phone and he started to record them.
Yeah.
And all you do is you turn on your camera, your video camera, and you ask them to identify themselves. Do you know that it's a requirement of police to notify if you make a request to any police officer for his name and badge number, even if it's written on his shirt, on their jersey, which they all are, they are obligated by law to identify themselves verbally as well.
Wow.
Mind you, why is ICE not? I believe I believe that they are. And one of the things that you wanna do is constantly just turn around and say to them, "Kindly, sir, or ma'am, kindly identify yourself by name and badge number. Before
Yeah.
I even speak to you, kindly identify your name, full name, and your badge number so I know who I'm speaking to." And you have every right within which to do that. Do it on videotape and so on. They're running around thinking that they have all the immunity that the president was granted stupidly by our Supreme Court of the United States. They do not. They do not. And you know what? But for the administration coming to the aid of John Ross, I believe that John Ross would ultimately be picked up by Minnesota, by the Minnesota police for violating Renee Nicole Good's rights for
Yeah.
murder.
Yeah. Here's my look, I'm just saying, you don't have to do that. You do not have to do any of that. Okay, Michael Cohen, I love you, buddy. I'll see you later.
The Lemonade,
Lemon
thank you,
Cohen
pal.
Report. Thank
Always
you. Have
good
a
seeing
great
you.
day,
Thank you.
everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe to all of us. Follow us on every single platform. Michael Cohen, The Michael Cohen Show, Don Lemon, The Don Lemon Show. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.